Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Misguided channel. And you might be wondering, where have we been? And in response to that, it's just been a busy schedule for everybody involved. But this is Joseph, and I'm here to give you a little bit of a savory, short podcast of sorts. I'm not going to say this is part of season 2, though I believe when we come back, it will be season 2. Right now, this is just me in this podcast talking to you. So, yeah, that was a status update. Maybe this will be a sub-series in the future where I'll just talk about everything that's on my mind at random times, because that's kind of why I did this in the first place. But, so, sit back, relax, and pour yourself a cold drink, and enjoy. So tonight I would like to talk about Aliens, the series, or franchise, Predator, and Alien vs. Predator. And why do I want to talk about those things? Because I'm interested in them, and because I want to... I don't know, I love this. I love those two franchises, and if I could become if I get the opportunity to become a director later on, I would love to, or a major feature director, and if I was entrusted with the care of one of these franchises, I would love to have that opportunity. That being said, though, so let's start with the Alien franchise. A lot of people love Alien 1, Ridley Scott's sci-fi terror masterpiece. It's something I need to rewatch. It's been a little bit, and by that I mean a couple months. But there's Aliens, which I think even more people like. That being said, which one do I prefer? I don't really know. Aliens, Alien 3, a largely disliked sequel that had a very complicated production, and as a behind-the-scene video states, it had a release date really before the film. Fox had a release date before they really had a film. That being said, though, I kind of like Alien 3, and I do respect it. I'll come back to that in a little bit here. And we are left with Alien Resurrection, which is a fun movie, but I'd say that's probably my least favorite out of all the Alien films. But I respect the director for saying and appearing on the Blu-ray disc and re-release, and it's something that David Fincher did not do for Alien 3. And I appreciate that the director said he was proud of what he did and everything, despite maybe what people think of it. And then there is Ridley Scott's return with Prometheus, which is a film that I saw when it was originally in theaters, and when it hit originally, I was like, it's good, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. But looking back on it, and now that we're getting a lot closer to the second film in that prequel trilogy called Alien Covenant now, maybe they should rename the original Alien Prometheus, but I viewed it again, and I enjoyed it more this time around. Maybe because I have more of an analytical background now with regard to film, or it was just the second viewing experience, I don't know. It's interesting that a recent report said that the main lead actress from Prometheus will not be appearing in Alien Covenant, which is like Prometheus 2. Supposedly there will be xenomorphs, and supposedly David, I believe, is the robot name. Michael Fassbender's character. He will be reappearing, though, so that's interesting. I wonder what happens. I'm curious about what happens to the female protagonist. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I wonder if David has something to do with her not being there. Maybe. All right. That out of the way, though, let's talk about the Predator series that we have so far. We have Predator 1, the classic with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Love the film, great. Predator 2 with Danny Glover, and which essentially kind of introduced. It didn't introduce the Alien versus Predator concept because that was present before that film existed, but it did, or at least I'm pretty sure it did, but it did kind of it was the film's way of recognizing that series, and in doing so kind of made AVP canon in a way. That being said, though, Predator 2 is a fun movie, and one of the games that came out of it, Predator Concrete Jungle, well, that didn't really come out of Predator 2, but it's similar to Predator 2. I like it a lot, and I would love to get my hands on a copy of that again. That being said, I don't think Predator 2 is definitely not as strong as Predator 1, but there are moments I like, and I like the urban environments, and there's some social commentary in there that I like as well. But I don't think it's held as tightly together, and I think there are also really some odd, funny, and cheesy moments that the original didn't really have, but yeah, but it's still, I like it. I have it on Blu-ray. And then there is Predators, which people either kind of like it, or they really hate it. I don't know if anybody really loves it. I like it a lot. Even though I've only seen it once, I should get around to rewatching it again. But I enjoy Predators. In addition to that, we have Alien vs. Predator from Paul W.S. Anderson, who also did Mortal Kombat and the Resident Evil series. I have a soft spot in my heart for him, and I enjoyed that, though the only time I've seen it is in full screen. So it was cropped a little bit, but I do it on the widescreen version now. But then that was followed by Alien vs. Predator Requiem, which I distinctly remember seeing the commercials for back in the day. I think it was 2007 it was released. I could be wrong. But I saw that it was releasing on Christmas Day, and basically I was like, wow, this is a pretty disturbing movie to be releasing on Christmas Day. But I was really young back then and didn't care about movies too much and didn't know anything about these franchises. That being said, though, Requiem is actually a film that I think I like more than the first movie. Though, if you watch it on FX, or if you watch it, certain versions of the film shown on channels, and also I believe the Blu-ray version, are darker, and the film is already a dark film, so that creates kind of a problem where a lot of people, including myself, have felt that they can't really see a lot of what's going on. And I used to make the joke that I needed night vision goggles to watch that film, but in hindsight, I own the DVD version, and I actually like the film. I think it's a fun movie. Is it super serious? No. And it set up a third film that I'm still waiting for, and I think a third AVP, if it was done right, could be really well, but I think a third one in general would be fun, and I'd like to see a third one. Especially with Alien Covenant coming out, another Predator film coming out sometime in the near future, and those two franchises kind of being reignited. We've got Universal kind of doing their monster team, Marvel with their superhero team, DC with their new superhero team. So this could be Fox's thing next to the X-Men and Deadpool, of course. But I think they could really honestly make maybe if they rebooted it or just did a third one. Do a third one, please. Actually, just do a third one. I think it could be a big thing for them, potentially. Then again, I think the characters don't speak out as much, to as large of an audience as like the Marvel fan base and everything like that. Yeah. Oh, it would also be interesting because I believe Alien vs. Predator, the comic book franchise or series, the rights to that are owned by Dark Horse. So Dark Horse could get into films. I can't think of a Dark Horse character film, though I'm sure there is one out there, at least one. But I can't think of one. So I really love this franchise, and the games that come along with it are fun as well. There's one on the iPhone that's actually called AVP Evolution. I haven't played through the entirety of it. I'd say I've played through about 2% of it, honestly, but it's fun. and I'm glad that it's available. Predator Concrete Jungle, Alien Isolation, AVP Requiem on the PSP, a strategy game called Alien vs. Predator Evolution. I want to say that's what it's called. I could be wrong there. Fact check me on that one. AVP and AVP 2, as well as AVP 3, and Aliens Colonial Marines, which I have not played through. I've played about 2% of that as well, and which was a disappointing 2%, but still, I have some space in my heart for that game. It should have been done better, though. And I have a really big... I have an urge now to play Alien vs. Predator Classic 2000 now on Steam, but I have to fix some mouse problems that I'm having, so I need to work on that. And also, I really want to read the AVP comic books, which I mentioned a little bit when I was talking about the films. Alien vs. Predator, they do have comics. Aliens have comics. Predators have comics. There's novels. There's novelizations. I have an urge to read the Alien 3 novelization for some reason. Don't know why, but I do. These weird urges, and yeah. If somebody asked me what character, though, I would want to win in an all-out battle, and basically the AVP battle is continuous. If somebody asks me what character I would want to win, I would probably say the Predators, but I'm not. I love both characters so much. I really do. They're just fun. They're fun franchises, and they're fun movies to just sit back and watch, in my opinion. Other people will have other opinions, but that's just my thoughts. Also, the soundtrack for these films is very interesting to look at, especially the Prometheus soundtrack, which is very well crafted. And I do also support the theory, if it's out there, or if it's just my own theory, that I support the theory that the Alien universe encompasses the Martian universe as well. I mean, there are similarities in the vehicle designs, etc. And I think there's a line that Matt Damon's character says at one point where he's like, "Oh, there's all these wonders waiting out there in space for us." And it's like, if you look kind of forward into the future, at least with Prometheus and Alien, you're like, there's some stuff out there maybe you don't want to get involved with. Foreshadowing. In addition to Alien Covenant, the second prequel for the Alien series, we will also be receiving an Alien 5, or that's what it's being called right now, but in the very near future. I believe it's being directed by the director of District 9 and Chappie. I hope it's done well. That being said, there are talks of it potentially retconning, or in other words, discarding Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection as canon to the Alien franchise. I don't necessarily like that, even though Alien 3, basically something happens within the first 5 minutes of Alien 3 that kind of makes a lot of people angry, and if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, just watch the first 5 minutes and you're gonna be like, what just happened? They really just did this. But I don't feel like you should disregard the work of other filmmakers that way. But the story they're going for, maybe there's some other way they could tell it, but the story they're going for involves that event not happening at the beginning of Alien 3. So, yeah. Where would I like to see the Alien, Predator, and Alien vs. Predator series go in the future? I'd like to see more movies. I'd like to see more effort in the movies, like a better quality, especially with Alien vs. Predator. I'd like that to be seen as a major potential franchise for 20th Century Fox, because I don't think it really has been seen that way yet. I also want to see more games. I want to see better games, and I want to see. I also want to see more love, just in general, for these characters and their stories and everything. If you want to read a really good book, I suggest AVP Prey, which is book 1 of the AVP series. There's also all these crossovers, Batman versus Predator, etc., etc., etc. So I'm sitting here talking about Alien, Predator, etc., and I'm listening to the Alien soundtrack right now and looking outside into the night sky, and it's this perfect setting for this conversation. I love it so much. So this has been the kind of revival show of the Misguided channel, I guess. This is just something I put together myself, Joseph, for some fun, and also we like I said, we've been having a hard time getting dates and times together to do a group podcast, so I wanted to contribute somehow to keep the channel alive. So this video and podcast might be slightly different than what you experienced before, but I hope you enjoyed it. I have no idea. I do think I want to keep these going somehow, like these individual podcasts of mine, because it's rather easy to do. I have the equipment now, and I would love to see the support, even if it's only a couple of likes or whatever. And I hope you enjoyed and found it somewhat relaxing, maybe. That'd be cool, even though we're talking about these somewhat spooky franchises. So thank you very much for tuning in. I have no idea when the next one will go up. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. Who knows? And I don't know if that will be me alone doing a podcast, or if that will be a group podcast, or me with another person. I have ideas for guests I could bring on the show. So right now I'm going to tentatively call this Joseph's Late Night Thoughts, Episode 1. Thank you for listening. And remember, in space, no one can hear you scream, because there's no sound in space.